Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I am the host of today's show, and I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. You can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. And today I am joined by Sophia, who is a certified nutrition educator. She helps people to balance their blood sugar without dieting. So we have a little delay again, and I apologize for that, you guys. I'm near my router, so I don't know what's going on with that. So hopefully you are tuning in and listening. I think that would be more enjoyable than watching this because it has a bit of delay. But I do encourage questions and any kind of comments and anything you want to know about blood sugar, hormones, weight loss, anything to do with that kind of genre. We're going to be talking live about that. So I want to get right into it. So Sophia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I really appreciate being here.
Yes. I am frozen on my end, so I don't know what's happening here.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to just keep going because I'm sure people are listening in on audio. So let's just keep going, and hopefully my screen will unfreeze at some point. Okay, Sophia. So thank you for being here. First of all, it's weird talking to you like this. So there we go. I don't know what's happening. This is like the third show that this Wi-Fi is not connecting correctly. So I apologize for that, but yeah, we'll get through it. So Sophia, so let's tell everybody what led you into this kind of work.
Yeah. So for me, this work is really personal, and it's because I come from a family where type 2 diabetes wasn't just a diagnosis, but it was a reality with pretty serious complications. And I grew up watching how blood sugar issues affect people, especially my family members. And so I always had this feeling in the back of my mind that I needed to take a different path, a preventative one essentially, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I was young, so it didn't really hit me until my first personal transformation. It didn't start with diabetes. It started with my skin. So at age 19, which was over a decade ago, I had just graduated cosmetology, was working full time right after high school in the beauty industry. I was using what I thought was the top tier products, prescription retinol, expensive skincare routines. I was a skincare junkie. But no matter what I did, I still had stubborn acne, right? And that was going on for about 2 years. And then the real change that happened, the significant change, was when I started learning about something completely different, which was nutrition and gut health. So I was learning about probiotics, right? And it's not just one or two probiotics. I was learning about 16 different strains and how they could actually impact your health, from the inside out, and your skin. So then after that, I also learned about the role of fiber and healthy fats like omega-3s in reducing inflammation, which is for my case, it was redness and irritation. So I made a shift, right? So I started eating whole foods because I was eating anything and everything. Right after high school, we were eating out all the time, fast food and just packaged food. So I started taking initiative and started making my own food, my own meals, just whole foods. And I added probiotic rich foods. So at the time, it was just mostly actually just probiotic supplements. I didn't know about sauerkraut or kimchi. And then I started incorporating flaxseed into my routine, just focusing on like healing my body, not just treating my skin. And within 3 months, my skin completely cleared up. It like transformed. Opposed to using the skincare products for 2 years, right? Even though I went to school, I was an esthetician. That shift, that was the moment when I knew I needed to study nutrition like seriously. I didn't do it right away, but as I was working full time, that's when I pursued my bachelor's degree in health science. So I did health promotion and disease prevention. And then after that, I still went back to school to learn about medical nutrition therapy. So it wasn't just to understand the science, but also to just help people how to heal from the root, which is what I felt that I did with myself. I helped myself from the root. Mm-hmm. And I worked in clinical nutrition. It didn't really last that long though. Even though I was moving up and I did well in the field, I just did not see myself in that environment in the long run. So, I mean, that's where I'm at now.
That's so good, Sophia. And so at such a young age. And I know a lot of people can probably relate to being that age and seeing skin issues and, other things happening. So we're grateful that you took this route because now you can educate us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned probiotic rich foods other than the supplement. So can we just start there and what that would do to help people?
Yeah. So probiotics, there's probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are naturally like bacteria that's alive in our gut that just helps break down food easier. And it could be stuff that's already fermented, like your sauerkraut, kimchi, and then kefir. Kefir was probably the first one that I used, and also yogurt. Yogurt was probably one of the first ones that I used. They naturally have occurring probiotics. Prebiotics are certain foods that you eat that feeds the natural probiotics inside our microbiome. So that could be like fruit with like the skin on, like apples, pears, and even like artichokes. Certain root vegetables feed fiber, pretty much insoluble fiber, feed the gut bacteria, the probiotics in your body.
Okay. So would you recommend somebody starting with that? Like, let's say they want to lose weight by stabilizing their blood sugar. How would somebody start, or what would you recommend?
So losing weight by starting with blood sugar. So, okay, I want to introduce this basically with the big picture. So what I try to help people understand is that I know a lot of people come to me for weight loss. That's like the first main thing, but I also want them to understand that weight loss isn't like the main goal, but it also is a happy side effect of healing your metabolism, healing your body, right? Through nutrition. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about blood sugar and what happens to your body. So when your blood sugar is stable, your body stays calm and balanced. You have steady energy all day. Your cravings naturally decrease. Versus the opposite, when your blood sugar spikes and it crashes. So I just want to be clear about what's normal and what's harmful. Blood sugar spikes aren't always bad. It's a natural, like normal signal that your body tells you that, hey, there's energy here, let's use it. It's part of a normal, like healthy functioning metabolism or just a natural body reaction. But the problem sometimes isn't the spike itself, right? So it's like when those spikes happen all day, every day, from the ultra processed foods or sugary drinks, sodas, and constant snacking. That's when things could become dysregulated and a little bit more difficult to manage, because when that happens, when you have that blood sugar spike, your insulin, which is produced by your pancreas, it's a hormone that's supposed to help balance your blood sugar in your body. However, when you have chronic high insulin levels, it could potentially also be your fat storing hormone if you don't use that excess energy, that excess blood glucose. So when those high levels of insulin are just, when the levels are chronically high, the fat just gets locked in storage and you're more prone to blood sugar crashes. You get hungry and you crave more food. And naturally, people like to reach for another fix, like a quick fix, a snack, whatever's available, especially if they're not prepared. And the cycle repeats. Mm-hmm. So it creates like a cycle, right? I call this like a vicious cycle. Your blood sugar spikes, you crash. People naturally get something sweet or something easy to just spike or just to raise their sugar a little bit more. But when you get a refined carb or a snack that isn't really the best choice, you crash again.
Yeah.
You go through that cycle and you tend to overeat and it repeats the cycle. And I feel like that's like a big misunderstanding or misconception. I mean, hypoglycemia is no joke either, right? That I feel like that's even more dangerous than like high blood sugar, to be honest. But instead of just going through that cycle of eating like those quick, easy snacks that are like refined carbs, crackers, cookies, anything. There's so many things out there.
Yeah.
It's still going to spike you and you're still going to crash. So the solution, right? Instead of trying to get yourself out of that cycle that repeats, and it's not your fault, right? It's not anyone's fault. It's just easy, right?
Yeah.
Kind of focus on like your protein, your healthy fats, and your fiber-rich foods, because all those that combination helps keep your blood sugar steady. And when you do this, your body eventually will shift from storing fat to burning it. So overall, like when your blood sugar is spiking all day, your body is stuck in storage mode. But when you keep it stable, your metabolism shifts from storing fat to burning it.
So what can we do to shift that? Like, can you walk us through like a day or something? Like if somebody wants to shift from those spikes all day, what can they do as far as like a plan for like 1 day plan or something?
So the easiest thing I feel is setting your day with your breakfast. Try to have at least like 3 to 5 like meals prepped and ready to go for your breakfast, especially if you're short on time. And because when you have your breakfast ready with like a protein and a fat, like a healthy protein and a fat, it sets the tone for the whole day.
So what would be an example of a breakfast? Like somebody's on the go, they're busy, they have kids, the whole nine, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, and
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I know most people don't have time for breakfast if they have a whole family and everything like that.
Yeah, that's very common, especially with a lot of my clients. So I'll provide the examples that helped my clients. I mean, I like to cook my breakfast every morning, but not everyone has that same routine. So a lot of people like to do their yogurt and they add their pumpkin seeds, their flax seeds, any berries, or even chia seeds. A lot of them, they say that they've really been enjoying their chia seed pudding. So they've been using that just to help them, like something to grab and go. And if they do want to have oatmeal, like I recommend them to not have it by itself. They try to have like hard-boiled eggs or so they try to have hard-boiled eggs, yogurt, What else? Oh, sometimes they have their protein shakes as well.
Mhm.
As long as like it really does have like a natural fat in it. So I mean, you could use coconut oil. Some people don't mind using avocado, like the actual avocado fruit, with their shakes, just to help maintain that stability throughout the morning, and they don't have to crash and be hungry before lunch.
So just so I'm clear, Sophia, the fats and the protein will stabilize the blood sugar.
Yes.
We can have a carb as long as we're adding a protein and a fat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it's really common for people to just eat refined carbs by itself, and it doesn't really last them that long.
Mm-hmm.
If-
So if we have a piece of toast, can we have almond butter and ghee, for example?
Yes. Have you had that before? Ghee with toast?
That has actually been my breakfast these
Oh,
days.
okay. I'm like,
That's why I'm like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
my camera is so stuck, so you can't see my face, but
yeah.
That's been my breakfast is like a low carb piece of bread,
Yeah.
ghee and almond butter, and then I'll have like a green tea or something.
Yeah. I mean, you could add more to that if you can. I would recommend to add something more like a hard-boiled egg. I don't know if you eat eggs.
Oh yeah, I love eggs.
Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, that's always a good option.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear so let's get into so would that be something that you would suggest if somebody's trying to get off of insulin?
Okay, so personally, I haven't worked with anyone that was put on insulin in my
Okay.
experience, but I do have some suggestions. First of all, like always work with your healthcare provider when making medication changes. But I do feel like there's a common misconception with needing insulin with type 2 diabetes. So most people think that type 2 diabetes means that they need more insulin, but most of the time that's not really like the issue or the real problem. So the truth is that the true understanding is that type 2 diabetes is usually about having too much like of your own insulin, not too little. So essentially your cells are overloaded and they can't take in any more glucose because they're already overloaded with glucose, and the insulin is just trying to pump out and just do its job. It doesn't know that your cells are overloaded. It's just doing its job. But I just want to mention real quick, how I learned about this was through Dr. Jason Fung. He's a nephrologist. He specialized in kidney health. He wrote the obesity code, the diabetes code, and he co-wrote the PCOS plan. So he was a nephrologist, which he specialized in kidney health, and all of his clients, like the majority of his clients that he treated for kidney disease, it all came from type 2 diabetes. So he only knew what to do, and which was prescribe more insulin, but nothing was working. And so he went back and studied type 2 diabetes, and he pretty much came up with this analogy, right? So the overflow paradigm. So he explains it how think of your cells like a suitcase that's already packed full. Insulin is trying to stuff more clothes in, but there's no room. And the solution isn't to force more in or to give the patient more insulin. It's to try to unpack what's already there. So, and that's what they talk about in all these 3 books. So what he did, he took a step back from just, instead of prescribing insulin and treating people with metformin and just medications, he went the dietary modification route, and he treated most of his patients with dietary modifications and fasting. And so for me as a nutritionist, these are the suggestions that I would recommend to support better blood sugar balance and reduce insulin load, right? So first, I would suggest like these 5 things. So we want to first lowering the insulin spikes. Naturally is choosing your whole foods over processed ones, and don't eat your carbs alone. And then try strategic fasting. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be overnight 12 to 14 hours, right? And then just being more physically active, because a lot of people, even being sedentary, could be detrimental to our health in the long run. So even moving like 10 to 15 minute like walks after a huge meal makes a difference. Or not a huge meal, but just like after eating. And also try to reduce stress, because this was literally the most common issue that I went through with a lot of my clients, even though they were doing everything right, checking in with me, doing their homework, applying the homework. The high stress, mainly from like mental and emotional because of their jobs, like it kept their blood sugar high, and it could still raise your blood sugar even without any food. So in the end, we want to kind of help rebuild that flexibility by training your body to burn glucose and fat.
I agree, Sophia. I feel like stress, just in my own, I guess coming from my perspective, I feel like stress automatically just puts you in fight or flight, and like all the cells are activated, and you can't think correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, because your body is like ready. That's the thing. All of your blood is rushing to your limbs because it's ready to literally like fight or flight. And so you don't have a lot of blood running in your organs. And when you're in that rest, when you're in the parasympathetic system, right? Yeah. So rest and digest.
Yeah.
When all your blood is going to your organs and they're doing their job. And so with like going back to fixing like your insulin, like, or getting off insulin, you don't want to fix an overflow by forcing more in. You want to fix by releasing what no longer serves your body. It's layered and it's gradual. It takes time. And yeah, so stress is like a huge, huge factor.
I agree. So can we talk about some things? Let's just take a very busy businessman or a very busy businesswoman. They own their own business. It's high stress. They're the president or the CEO of this company, and they know they have to get healthier, but they have a demanding job, and maybe they're even in a demanding relationship. How does one bring their stress level down in that situation?
So I feel like so going back to certain individuals that I've worked with, a lot of, like, if you want to talk about if they're in a demanding relationship, obviously communication. And then also I feel like it's about managing your time. Because when you manage your time and your schedule, everything will be a little bit more manageable. Like right from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. And having those boundaries too. Because I feel like some people did get stressed because they were all this stuff that I teach people and apply, they're all new skills. And skills take time. And so you build up gradually with what you can handle. So you want to do one step at a time. But I feel like it's mostly time management is the biggest thing.
For somebody to bring their stress level down if they are.
Because I notice a lot of people that stress out is because they feel like they don't have enough time, or they just don't know. They just need to know how to organize their tasks, even if it's something as simple as a chore. It's better sometimes just organize it throughout your day, throughout your life. It just makes things a little bit more manageable. I mean, that's the thing. Like, life is always going to be stressful. And when you nourish yourself and you implement like those healthy habits, you yourself become more resilient, and your body becomes resilient, and you recover faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the whole organization idea, because I feel like because a lot of times it's like our stress is just in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
We're overthinking and we're making something bigger than it is, or something like that. So I feel like if it's the time management or more organization in your day, meal prepping, then it's like you don't have to really think about those things.
Yeah.
Be that calm.
You don't have to worry about it, because it's one less thing to think about, and you want to use your mind, like your thinking skills, everything to actual real life decisions. And like, you have your meal like prepped, that's like one less thing they have to worry about.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do stress about that, which feels like they don't have to.
I know. I mean, I can remember when I was working as a sales rep and I was always in my car. I've always been a meal prep person,
Mm-hmm.
but my stress level was so high, Sophia, because I was on the road and I was eating in my car. And so it was just like, yeah, I think definitely the meal prepping helps. At least have.
With what you can control. Obviously, you can't control a lot of stuff like that when you're on the road. I mean, I had clients that they love to travel, or they even travel for work, and a lot of the fasting helped them out. But also, instead of going fast food, they would try to just do grocery runs, because it's easier for them to have more control over their food choices.
Can we talk a little bit about the fasting?
Yeah, I mean, fasting, I feel like it's different for everyone, for male and female. I feel like it shouldn't be a punishment. It shouldn't be starvation. It's pretty much allowing your body to have a break, to rest, and to heal. So for someone who has diabetes, or they just want to balance their blood sugar, it just helps it allows their body to give it time to burn stored energy, and just help them lower those insulin levels. And some people also do it because it helps support their cell repair if done correctly, because I feel like there's no one size fits all. If it works best when your body's already nourished and when it's not stressed. So, I mean, if you're like under eating and you're overstressed, fasting might make things a little bit worse. So sometimes you don't get into fasting right away with some of my clients. I want them to know how to eat first.
Yeah.
And eventually get into fasting, especially for women too. Like, we need to listen to our energy and like hormone signals, because and some people disagree, fasting in the morning isn't really a good idea, because we naturally have high cortisol because we have to wake up. And when you fast, those cortisol levels stay high. So I had a client, she skipped dinner, and that worked out better for her. So everyone's different. Some people, they preferred fasting, skipping breakfast in the morning, but yeah.
So she, just because I'm just curious, so she wouldn't eat anything at all at night? Because that's
She,
one of my,
I think she would stop eating at 4.
okay.
Hmm. So it could start gradual. I mean, some people naturally already fast, like not eating for 12 hours. Like if you have your dinner at 7 and then 12 hours after that is 7 a.m., people don't even eat till like way after that. So that's already past the 12, 14 hours. Some people
Yeah.
already do that. And then you want to leave like 4 to 5 hours in between meals. So some people would just fast by eating 2 big meals. And if they wanted to do longer fasting, it's only when like when you think your energy is stable. So they work up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do it to reset their digestive system too.
Have you ever heard of that book, Fasting Like a Girl?
Oh, by Dr. Mindy Pills? No, I have, or Pills. Sorry, I don't know if I said that right. I have. I just haven't read it yet, but I do. It's on my wish list for Audible.
Oh, okay. If I ever see you, if we get together again, I have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause I have so many books on my Audible. I mean, all these 3 books that I showed you, I also have them on my Audible. I'm just always reading these books and getting back to it because I'm always learning something new.
Yeah, I'm a big book reader too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She has a whole like plan around fasting. I mean, her take on it is definitely interesting.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Yeah, because for us, like we can't fast certain times in the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. So then with what we've talked about, Sophia, would you say that keeps our metabolism high? Or would you add anything to the conversation around keeping the metabolism high and like that fiery kind of, to burn?
So, and okay, in this context that we're
Yes.
talking about for metabolism, I mean, metabolism could be so many different things. You could have a whole degree on metabolism, right? You could, because like just the different pathways, everything, how it works in your body. But in this context, when we talk about metabolism, I just want to mention that it's mainly how fast you burn calories and how your entire body creates and uses energy. And so figuring out whether if your body's using that energy or storing it as fat. So a healthy metabolism could mean what your body does with the food, right? Is it fueling your cells? Is it balancing your blood sugar, or is it spiking it, or is it burning what it doesn't need? So like a stressed or overloaded metabolism could mean that that's when things start getting stored and fat loss almost seems impossible, like fight or flight, right? Your body's not when you're in that high stress level like state, your body it's not going to burn like any fat. It's going to try to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, so signs of slow metabolism every day could be constant fatigue. It could be weight gain, especially around like the belly, the midsection. It could be brain fog. Some people, it could mean that you're always feeling cold, or you have strong cravings. You could have mood swings. It could be different things. And then also like what slows it down, what interferes with the healthy metabolism could be like skipping meals or eating too little. It could even be like too much cardio without strength training. I feel like that's what I did for over 10 years. I overworked myself and I didn't have any muscle mass, but I just did cardio, and then not eating enough protein or not having a good like sleep schedule. Like I said, chronic stress, mainly like mental and emotional, and just being in that constant like blood sugar roller coaster. So those are things that you could take in mind if you're concerned, if you feel like your metabolism's kind of like unstable.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to boost it naturally, this is what everyone says, and it's like true to form. It's like you want to eat enough protein. And the reason that you want to eat enough protein is because it's gas. So it has a high thermic effect on your body. And when I say that is that when you eat protein, your body burns calorie digesting that protein. So as opposed to like when you're eating refined carbs, your body, you don't need any, your body doesn't burn any calories, doesn't need any energy to digest carbs. So protein helps pretty much like increase your basal metabolic rate along with building muscle, right? Lifting weights. When you burn muscle, when you build muscle and you eat your protein, you're increasing your basal metabolic rate, which means your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that you burn, that your body burns at rest by doing nothing, just by sitting, sleeping, breathing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of keep that as part of your routine. And then also prioritizing sleep. I just feel like that just helps your body recover. Like, especially even people who are trying to increase muscle mass or trying to go to the gym, they need to also take their sleep serious in order to see their gains, right? And again, like I said, some of this stuff is going to sound repetitive, but
Mm-hmm.
managing stress steers your body from recovering. And the thing is, there's so many types of stress. There's good stress and bad stress. I feel like because there's eustress. It's called EU stress. It's one word. That's like stress, like lifting weights. That's a type of stress, but it's like a quick stress. It goes away. But then there's people that are in constant like stress from work, like constant and like emotional, mental stress from, most of the time it's work or just making ends meet, or just like I said, being in your head, anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the stress that we want to like be careful with, right? And then obviously just trying to eat the right foods to keep your blood sugar stable, just to keep your energy level stable. So all these habits could help support a healthier metabolism and it may make fat loss more accessible over time, especially like with paired with other lifestyle changes. So like your metabolism isn't like really slow or broken. It's slow because it doesn't feel safe, and like you just want to you want to feel it, you want to move it, and you want to rest it, like your body, and then see what happens after that.
Interesting how you said it doesn't feel safe, because I feel like if what I'm hearing is most people, they say, oh, I want to lose weight, or, then they go and they starve themselves, or they do something like I heard you say in the beginning, it shouldn't feel like punishment.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's so on point from what I teach, to kind of love yourself more. And obviously I won't get into my story, but I've learned the hard way. But I love that what you're saying. So okay, so let's kind of get into a little bit. So you mentioned more weight training. What is ideal for weight training? 2 to 3 times a week? 4 times? Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I think 2 to 3 times a week is a good start. I mean, and you'll still see results. And I feel honestly, body weight and even the dumbbells, all that stuff, it's good enough. You don't have to rely on heavy equipment. Or the machines are good too, but you could do exercises at home 2 to 3 times a week, and even using your body weight. It's calisthenics. That's also really fun. Pilates is good too. So Yeah, it doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah. As long as you're doing something.
Yeah.
The other day I went for a walk and I actually put on my leg weights. Like I
Yeah,
strapped on.
that's always a good one. You could use it on the treadmill. Yeah, exactly what you did too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool. Okay. So I just kind of want to get into what your typical day looks like, and then we're going to try to get to some questions before we wrap up. Like,
Yeah.
tell me exactly what you do.
So as far as like eating, I always, as soon as I wake up, I always drink water. Always drink water, and I usually have ginseng tea and electrolytes, just because when we wake up, our blood sugar is super concentrated because we were just laying down for a long time. So you kind of want to let that uh, just disperse a little bit, and then when I do eat, I usually eat about an hour and a half, like 90 minutes after waking up. And I always, my breakfast has always been the same, but the only thing that rotates is the protein. So I always have 2 eggs with either oil or grass-fed butter. And then my protein is either smoked salmon or chicken sausage or beef sausage. I always keep it simple. And whatever veggies I have prepped, sometimes I have frozen veggies, but I just throw that in there, and that sets me good for like about 4 to 5 hours. I still eat 3 meals a day, and they're spaced apart about 4 to 5 hours. And then lunch, I always rotate my protein. I don't really snack ever because I don't really, I mean, I don't need to. But my lunch, it's also like just about 6 ounces of protein, 6 to 7 ounces of protein. It could be usually I rotate my fish, salmon, cod, sardines, or sometimes I have beef, sometimes I have pork, and then I don't know why I rarely eat chicken, but
Yeah.
I do eat it though. But I don't know why I just rarely eat it. It's just I feel like I get more nutrients out of these other proteins just because of the minerals. And then also I do eat that's in the for lunch, that's when have my carbiest meal, or I still have my white rice, or usually have quinoa, or even sweet potato, the starchy vegetables, but I always have that at lunch. And then in dinner, same thing. I have more vegetables in dinner, and my proteins same, like it's a little bit less, 5 to 6 ounces, but it's just whatever I have on rotation, because I always buy. The thing is, my food is the same. My meals are the same for 4 to 5 days. Usually my lunch and my dinner sometimes. So I eat the same thing 4 to 5 days, and then I go back and I rotate my proteins. So, and then I drink about 80 ounces of water, and then between that, I drink a lot of tea.
And it's just ginseng tea.
Well, I drink ginseng tea, and then at night, I drink lemon balm because it's a little bit more, it relaxes you more, and it's easy on the digestive system. And then I just grab so many random different teas because I like to try different things. But in the morning, it's always ginseng because it gives you a little bit more energy. And I always like drinking ginseng before a workout just because it helps me more with endurance. I last longer.
Yerba mate?
Yeah, yerba mates, I have that. So I have a concentrated form of yerba mate. It's the powder form yerba mate, and it's smoked, I believe, and it's grinded up. So it's like super constant. It's pretty strong. I have it sometimes when I feel like I need that extra boost.
I really want to try that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty strong. And so if I do, so when I do wake up, when I do have my exercises in the morning, I wake up extra early. I usually don't I mean, I have a small, like, I usually have coffee with a little bit of butter just to kind of hold me over for a workout, or I just have yogurt. But usually those days I do have a second cup of caffeine, whether from green tea or yerba mate, because I don't want to over caffeinate myself.
I know, right? Because then you can't sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's try to get into some of these questions. If we could rapid fire, because our time is kind of wrapping up here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with the ones that just came in. What is that lemon balm? It's a tea, right?
Yeah, so it's an herbal tea. It's like a leaf, and lemon balm is supposed to help just like soothe the digestion, but it also helps with anxiety. You could buy it as an extract, or I like to buy it as the loose dried leaf. And it, because sometimes I need something at night to relax me and to tell me, hey, it's time to wind down. And that one's more of a gentle way of like winding myself down. Because if I have chamomile, lavender, valerian, it's a little bit too strong and too heavy for me sometimes. And that one, I take it after dinner just to like really like set the tone for like the rest of my evening without knocking me out.
Got it. Somebody asked, is that one a drink additive? I don't know what that means.
Is that one drink additive?
Is that one drink additive?
What did I say?
Maybe the lemon balm.
Lemon balm?
I'm sorry. That one came in when y'all said, oh, it's strong and.
Oh, is it like an additive? I mean, it's a powder form yerba mate. You could drink it as a tea. I drink it as a tea. It dissolves in water. You could drink it in just regular water, but I drink it as a tea. And sometimes it could be a little bit strong if you're not used to having a lot of caffeine, but it has stevia, which is it's a plant-based sweetener that doesn't affect your blood sugar. So it helps a lot a lot of people who have diabetes could drink that tea.
The yerba mate.
Yeah.
I definitely want to get that and try it.
I'll send you the link, or if anyone was interested, I could send them the link if they could read on it and how it works.
With that, Sophia, let's tell people where they can find you, because we're going to wrap up here. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to all the questions, but if somebody or any of you want to reach out to Sophia or myself, you're more than welcome to. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, so if they want to reach directly to me, you could always find me on Instagram. My name is Glycemic Insights. And then also you could see I have a website where I also provide more education, like blogs and like free resources that have helped my clients in the past. But if you want to talk to me directly, you could just message me on Instagram.
And what's your website's name?
Oh yeah, my website's glycemicglow.com.
Glycemic Glow.
Should I put it on the chat?
Sure. Glycemicglow.com. So so if anybody else wants to ask Sophia anything, find her on Instagram or go to her website, glycemicglow.com. So amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
No, thank you for having me.
I know I learned a lot. And I apologize again for this delay in my camera, but this was a good show. Definitely, it taught me a lot. So I know a lot of people got some things out of it.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I hope it was as easily as digestible as possible.
For sure.
Okie
doke.
All right.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. Thank you to Sophia again. Find her at glycemicglow.com or Glycemic Insights on IG, Instagram. And until next time, love your body and love your life. Take care. Bye.